That doesn't make any sense.
We didn't technically start without you.
No, I mean, look, I'm
Even
not
though
gonna.
I'm pretty sure I was pretty rooting for that.
Yeah, I mean,
Sorry, Kyle.
yeah, but
Fine.
I'm not gonna start without anybody because it's just. Oh fuck, that hurt.
Don't tell me I set that benchmark when I couldn't get my fucking mic working the last
No,
2 weeks.
it's not really because of that or anything, but the reason why is because I just don't like the idea of like Kyle joining the conversation halfway in and then be like, so what are we talking about? And then like we have to re-go over it. So for the listeners, I feel like that's a little bit boring. Otherwise, he gets left out of the conversation, and then he might say something later on, and we're like, yeah, we already talked about that, you dumbass. And then he's like, oh, well, I didn't know.
I would just
Yeah.
hop in and listen.
Yeah.
That's fair.
But then that's not very exciting either. You end up like Zach. That guy's a creeper.
Yeah.
What?
Well, I think last week you said like 20 words in total, and I was like, awesome. So I gotta
Was
tone
the
down
Derek
my
and
ranting
Jason,
a little
remember?
bit. Yeah,
It was a Derek and Jason show.
it was a Derek and
Yeah, a
Jason
little
show.
bit.
We'll try and tone it down a little bit this week.
There was Adventures in Drinking, and
Right.
I mean, I really listened to it, and it was like a half an hour of the build-up of, like, basically a story about Jason being the world's worst bartender. And
Sounds about right.
It really
yeah.
was.
So, how much longer of Final Fantasy, like, do we actually have? If you're, you know, you were bragging about your speedrunning skills, but you know we've been
that was
technically
years ago too.
grinding for 4 hours of podcast, so you know.
The thing is about Final Fantasy and another longtime favorite of mine, Dragon Warrior, is that both games are very grindy. If I tried to speedrun this with this group, because I will remind you, I had you guys choose your own avatars. And
So this is our fault.
yes, totally, it's 100% your
Okay.
fault. Because
Black Mage is a good.
Fighter
Wait, no, wait.
Thief.
Tell. You should let us know which one of us screwed up the most.
Okay, whichever one of
It
us
was me.
picked the fucking thief, that would be Derek.
Oh, that that would be me.
That would be Derek. Derek fucked up the worst.
Get on.
The thief is completely useless until the last boss and the second last boss.
Well, there you go. I'm not useless. I'm just clutch. It's
Yeah, but I gotta give you the best sword so that you actually do damage on the last boss.
oh well.
Like, there's
Okay.
two amazing weapons that you get later on in the game, right? One is Mass Immune, and the other one is the Excalibur. Mass Immune basically is a ninja sword. Only a ninja can use it, which is what your class evolves into. And the Excalibur, anybody can use it, literally anybody, and it's the highest damage sword in the game. I could give
Can
it
I
to a
have it?
red. I could give it to a red mage or a black mage, and they'd do as much
Can I have
damage as a fighter. Yeah, maybe.
Fuck
we'll
that guy.
see.
Fuck the fighter. I want it.
We'll see when we get there. But yeah, it's just one of those things where it's like, oh, well, you know, if I want to give this to this person, that we might end up doing that. We might just give Excalibur to.
Well, back to the
Kyle
original
and Zach.
question. How much longer do you think?
That-
in your expert Final Fantasy opinion.
I wouldn't classify myself in that as an expert, but I'd say maybe 12 hours more in the game. There comes a certain point where you do have to stop grinding. Although I will say, this the podcast will cease to continue on Final Fantasy, at least on a permanent basis, probably next week.
What? Why?
Well, we might
I heard a
revisit
rumor.
it. We might, yeah, you heard a rumor. You were in the call 5 minutes ago. The reason why is because, you know, obviously the same thing every week, you know. Maybe some people don't like Final Fantasy, and maybe we're not, you know, we're not chummy with them enough to the point where they're like, yeah, this is great, you know, we can
Or
carry
maybe
a
we're the
podcast
only
alone.
people here.
Well, I mean, we got
Or maybe what's also awesome is that Diablo 2 would be an infinitely better choice, in my opinion. But I have a D2 fanboy, so I might be a little biased.
Yeah, well, funny story, we were gonna do D2 today, but my LOD has apparently been disabled by Blizzard, and I need to contact tech support. And,
Ha! Yeah, shit on, bitch.
sorry, customer support, not tech support. And, so basically, I found that out about a minute before we went live, so we're not gonna do that this week.
How does one get their Lord of Destruction disabled by Blizzard? What kind of weird, nefarious shit were you up to where Blizzard was like, whoa, this guy can't be trusted with Lord of Destruction?
I'm not sure. I know way back in the day, shortly after I bought the CD key, because this is my like 4th account, I used to run bots and channels and shit, because I used to like run my own clan and shit and that.
Oh, so just Blizzard is so far behind that they're just
Well,
now catching up to your botting.
I was muted for the longest time. Like, the CD key was muted. And I was like, okay, this has just now become my bot CD key. Cool. And, you know, that was it. No big deal. But, yeah, eventually, like, all the other CD keys, I, like, lost them or whatever. So when I put this one on my Battle.net, the last time I played D2 online was probably about a year ago after AGDQ. And I was like, oh, man, I remember that game. It was awesome. And then I just... You know, I played it, it worked, and then shortly after, I, you know, lost interest in the game, or didn't have time, or whatever. Stopped playing it, and I reinstalled it about a month back.
A one-track game, yeah.
Yeah. And I've been playing a lot of D3. But, yeah, so I reinstalled it about a month back, and I've been playing mostly single-player, and, just, you know, whenever, like, people aren't on to play Dota or whatever, or D3. It's just something I've been doing to keep myself busy. And, so I've had it installed for about a month now, and I'm just playing single player. Never even clicked Battle.net until about 5 minutes before we went live.
Whoops.
What are you playing?
A little bit of everything. Mostly just speedrunning Act 1 right now. And then I'll practice speedrunning Act 2, and then 3, and then 4, and then maybe I'll try my hand at a full, like, normal speedrun and see if I can get anywhere close to, like, Mr. Llama SC or anything like that and start joining the speedrun community or something.
What's your favorite setup?
Honestly, like, super underpowered, but I love, like, pike zones. Not javelins, like, not even throwing them, just stabbing people with them and having, like, lightning shoot out everywhere. It's a lot of fun.
That's fair. I mean, if you're not playing for fun, you're not doing it right, so...
Right. I also like,
speedrunning.
caster druids are really fun.
They're definitely theatrical, as far as their spells go.
Yeah. So, what have you guys been up to in the last week since we last talked? Okay, let's be honest.
I almost got saved today.
Oh yeah? How's that?
Yeah. I was out on a job site, and I looked it up beforehand, so I got sent to site just to confirm that everything that there was pictures of was actually there. And it was at a street. It was for a residential lighting. And I'm just looking through the Google Street Maps, and then I see this house on the street I'm supposed to go to. And it's like a neon baby blue. And it's like, Jason remembers my old place. It was just like a flat facade, 2-story building. And on the front of it, like front and center, was like a story tall crucifix on the front of this residential house. But it just the neighborhood, and in combination with the paint job and the surrounding yard, made it look like suspect number 1 of any serial killer you've ever seen. It was like, it was overwhelming. I got a chill looking in Google Street Maps, which I've never had. And I realized I had to go to this site, so I called somebody up, and I was like, "Hey, do I really have to go?" Like, and they're like, "Yeah, you really have to go." And so I drove out there, and sure enough, they walked straight up to my car. "Excuse me, sir, have you heard the word?" And I got a pamphlet, and it was just a bad experience. A little nervous. I never know what to say to those people. Like,
But for our viewers, you are still the Antichrist currently, though, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, my feet were smoking, but I mean, this person's seen my license plate, so it's like, ah.
Might follow you home. They've always got a crazy friend at the DMV too. That's the scary part.
Every serial killer does.
Yeah.
And yeah, I didn't know what to say, so I just nodded and smiled and took their little brochure and was like, "Oh, you guys have a great day. I'm gonna run the fuck out of here." So that's what happened to me today.
Wow.
Yeah, that's my big highlight. That, and I officiated that wedding that I was talking about.
Right. How was that?
It was a wedding. It was awesome.
As you'd expect.
Yeah. So cousin Robin is now Mrs. Clack. So
nice name.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
How do you spell that? Is it like a or what?
It's I'm not gonna say it over the podcast in case someone ends up getting murdered. It might be, I'm not gonna combine serial killer with hey, my favorite cousin just got married. I'm gonna start getting photographs in the mail. That's the end of it.
Yeah. Come to Jesus, or else she'll get it.
That's fair.
God. Fuck.
What about you, Zach?
Well,
Anything with
I've
you
really
in the
done
last
anything this week, but I have a similar story. I've skied and snowboarded my whole life, and I was out in Colorado one time, and you got to sit on the chairlift for like fucking 15, 20 minutes sometime. And this guy apparently was like a super hardcore Christian, and he tried to save me on this chairlift ride, which I couldn't escape for like 15 minutes.
Oh
And it
man,
was just god awful.
That's the
Like-
hostile situation of the year.
I just kind of wanted to jump off.
Oh.
And how did he die? Well,
He
at least
jumped
if
off
he
of
died,
the-
you would have went to heaven. It would have been fine.
Yeah, it's true.
But it would have been suicide.
Oh.
No, he
so
slipped
you
and
wouldn't
fell.
have.
He slipped
Oh,
and
is-
fell.
oh, okay. Well, fuck. If that's the case, then never mind.
I mean, if you accidentally die while you're trying to escape, is that suicide? If you think it's risky?
I think the intent might still be there. I don't know.
If I'm the Antichrist, then you've got to be Saint Peter and answer that for me, because I'm not sure.
I don't know, man. If you're the Antichrist, I'm Lucifer, so I don't really know what the fuck to do.
That's
You know?
great. We can carpool.
Exactly. I've always said to people, whatever, like, you know, they're like, "Oh man, you're a terrible person." I'm like, "Yeah, I totally am." They're like, "You're totally gonna go to hell." I'm like, "Yeah, I'll be the one driving the bus."
Yeah.
Like, that's my thing, you know.
Somebody made that decision for me a long time ago. That's definitely the case.
It seems to be kind of a theme on this podcast because I live across the street from a Catholic church.
Oh
and
shit.
people that go there are the biggest assholes on the planet, and we call them out on it. So fuck, we're going to hell.
I like that. So everyone's got their own roots in that. I'm glad I'm not going to be stepping on any toes if we end up going that direction in any of our conversations. So
Yeah.
good on us.
I was
Cool.
I was very selective in the panel that we chose. I didn't want to pick anybody that would get butthurt, or at least nobody that would get permanently butthurt.
Cool. All right.
You hurt my butt.
Yeah, but you like
That was
it, so
completely
that's
different circumstances. Stop taking your clothes off in the hot tub.
Right. Sorry. Alright.
Oh shit. So what about you, Kyle? Anything new in the last week?
No. I'm a
All
boring
right.
person.
Wait, no, wait. I don't fully trust that because last time you said no, and then you were like, "Oh, wait a second, I went to Los Angeles." Does that count?
Palm Springs, actually.
Palm Springs. My bad.
No, I just stayed home.
Well, you
Mentally tried to deal with myself, and that's it.
are you in the moment of reflection phase of the breakup?
I don't know, I guess. Maybe.
Wow.
Staring into the
we
mirror.
killed the vampire in 2 hits. Well done, boys. Holy shit.
No, I don't know, I just dealt with myself, really. That was pretty much it.
That's cool.
Just
What
had
a-
to mentally do shit, and now here we are. I kind of didn't
Yeah.
want to come on, to be honest. Like, I just wanted to sit and think, but
Yeah.
here we
That's
are, talking
But-
about dicks and all.
Right.
Is
Speaking
that
of
the theme
dicks,
today's episode?
this has nothing to do with dicks, but I told Derek that I'd wait and I'd tell him the story here. So yesterday,
Oh, God. You
Yesterday-
fucking idiot.
yeah. Yeah. So yesterday morning, it's Monday morning, for those of you that aren't around a clock or a calendar. So on Monday morning, I wake up about 6:30 in the morning. My alarm clock's going off, and I'm like, no, I'm kind of tired. I'm gonna push it back an hour. So I reset my alarm clock and go back to sleep for an hour. Then I wake up at 7:30, and I'm like, no, I don't gotta be at work till 8, so I could get like 10 more minutes of sleep. So I hit snooze. I wake up at 8:30. Okay. I'm now half an hour late for work, and I hadn't even got out of bed. So I'm like, oh fuck, in that panic, kind of like, you know, you open your eyes, and I just reached for my phone, I looked at my phone, it said 8:30, snapped awake, kind of thing, and then I'm just in a panic mode. So I throw my legs off the side of my bed, and I hop up onto my feet. Okay, like hop out of bed, land on my feet. My left foot, or sorry, my entire left leg must have been like asleep or numb or something. I didn't realize my toes were curled. I couldn't feel my leg at all. Fell on my on my face. Face first
you
into the
paint
carpet.
a wonderful image for that.
Yeah. Well, the funny thing is, my toes were curled. And I didn't realize it because my foot was asleep, so I couldn't feel anything. So I ended up putting all of my body weight on my left foot with my toes underneath my foot because they were curled up underneath. So that hurt. After I face planted, I was like, oh fuck, okay. So I threw on my socks. Pain didn't really happen right away. I walk down to the, elevator, I get into my car, and I push the clutch in to start the car. I start the car, and then the pain comes. And I'm like, holy fuck, this hurts like a motherfucker. What did I do? Like, honestly, I thought I broke my toes. All of them. It hurt
And you just had
so
an amazingly
incredibly
delayed
bad.
reaction.
Well, because my leg finally woke up, right? So the blood flow is finally going back to my leg. My toes are now in immense pain. And, yeah, so I go to work. And, I'm limping around all day. And, then eventually one of my coworkers, the ladies in the office, one of them was like, okay, why are you limping around? And I'm like, you don't want to know, it's really stupid. And she's like, no, seriously. And I'm like, okay, so here's what happened. I tell her my boss is in her office, which is like right behind the desk of the lady I'm speaking to. And so my boss is hearing everything. I get to the part where I hopped out of bed and couldn't feel my leg, hit my, just went face first into the ground. And no shit, I look into her office and she's fucking almost crying, laughing so hard. Because, you just picture me, I'm about 190.
You're pouring your heart out.
Yeah, I'm about 190, like 5'11", 6 feet, somewhere around there, right? So, I would say I'm a little bit overweight, but I wouldn't say like I'm huge or anything like that. And I'm definitely not, the average or whatever, right? And I was like, this really fucking hurts. And they're like, yeah, that, sorry to laugh, but that's hilarious. Yeah, at least you got a great
You're
story.
not going to
out
get a
of it.
shred of sympathy for that story.
No, of course not. Because
I slept in, so I accidentally broke my foot trying to use my cat-like reflexes to spring out of bed and failed at it.
yeah. I mean, okay. Back when I used to smoke, people would be like, oh, smoking kills. And I'm like, you can die getting out of bed. It's so how true it was. That was like always my go-to. I was like, yeah, you could die doing anything.
Karma story,
right? So
I remember a time where you almost broke your foot in your bathroom when you were just playing a joke with me. I was sleeping over, and for whatever reason, you were doing you were putting Q-tips in your ears, and you're just rounding them out, and you looked me in the eye and pushed one in really hard, and then went and kicked the cabinet.
It was like a reflex or something. Yeah. So I'm at work, right, and I'm limping.
But it was great.
Yeah, but I'm limping all day. And they're like, okay, yeah, whatever. I get home, I have a shower, I grab a beer, and I go sit on my deck because it's nice and warm out. And I look down at my foot, and it's fucking, the two toes, the one small one and the one next to the big one, are, purple. I'll send you a picture, Derek. But the other two have already seen
That's
it.
why we need a Facebook group.
Yeah, right?
They could be out there.
It was fucking terrible, man. It hurt so bad, and
See, I wouldn't even know what to look for because I've never broken a toe. But
Me neither.
Jessica here has broken 8 on 7 occasions.
right.
Everything.
Fuck.
She hits her foot on. Oh, she's pointing to the broken digits. She's broken her long one that you said you broke 3 times.
Oh well.
And yeah, she's just going through and showing all of the different points where they don't line up anymore. So look forward to that.
Yeah. I've been you know, touching my toes and stuff, and like massaging them and feeling them. And luckily for me, I do have another foot of reference to work with, so I can see like, oh, okay, so that one's a perfectly normal foot, and then I like feel the other one, and you know, it hurts obviously to touch it.
What if you went into it and your feet weren't symmetrical beforehand, and you really freaked yourself out?
Well, the weird thing is, I texted my sister, and for those that don't know, my sister is an RCA, which is a registered.
I don't think anybody knows.
Yeah, well, whatever. If you're not in the medical field, you wouldn't know the term, but RCA is a registered care attendant. Basically, they are the ones that works at, like, mental asylums, old folks' homes, yada, yada, yada. Wipes asses, you know, cleans noses, or is it the other way around? Whatever it is. And, yeah, so she would be, like, 2 years of schooling away from becoming an RN, which is a registered nurse. So I texted the picture to her, and I was like, hey! Check out what I did. And she's like, the first message she sent back, it wasn't holy shit, it wasn't like, wow, did that hurt, it was go to the doctor. And I'm like, no,
Thank you so much.
I've just been working all day for 9 hours. I'm gonna sit with my feet up. I'm gonna give it a couple days because I got the podcast today, and then after the podcast I gotta go work at my dad's farm for, you know, like
You can
3
just
hours.
go put some more weight on it and see if that cures it.
Yeah, right. So, you know, I'm kind of busy today, and yesterday I just wanted to relax. So, anyway, I
You
get
know,
to,
your health and shit just comes
Yeah.
away after everything.
right. Well, I'm
Oh, yeah.
very particular in that sense. Like I was telling Kyle today at work, I get to work, and you know, I'm talking to my boss in the morning, and I'm like, hey, you know, and I'm like, did you see the picture? And she's like, oh yeah, Kyle showed me when we were eating dinner, and I'm like, oh yeah, it's a great time. And she's like, yeah, whatever. And I'm like, yeah. She's like, do you want to take an hour off in the morning to go to the clinic or something? And I'm like, no, I'm good. She's like,
So now you have no excuse
And-
whatsoever.
she's like, no, you should take an hour and go to the clinic. And I'm like, no, I'm just gonna wait. And she's like, no, seriously, call your doctor. I'm like, oh fuck. So I call my doctor. Well, okay, 8:30. Doctor's office isn't open till 9 because it's walk-in clinic from 8 till 9, so I have to wait until 9 in order to call. Wait till 9. Then I call at 9. Talk to the receptionist. Okay, your name, give her my name, your birth date, give her my birth date. She's like, okay, and were you, with Dr. McIntosh before? I'm like, yeah. She's like, is anybody in your family? I'm like, literally everybody. And she's like,
Yeah.
I don't see you in the system. Here's the thing you need to know about me. I do not go to the doctor unless I need to. I have not
Yeah,
been.
I think
in
that's
fif-
pretty clear.
I have not been in 15 years.
I think it's
Wow.
called stupidity.
I have not been
Clearly
to the doctor.
fatality
Or
rate in men is
stubbornness.
much higher for that exact reason.
Well, okay, yes, sure, but unless I feel something wrong with me, I don't think I should waste their time. And
Like
my
broken
They're
sister,
not wasting their time though.
well, if it was a broken toe, then yes, I would go. And so she was like, just call them. And so I called them, and she's like, yeah, you haven't been with us for a long time. I think you were. Let me talk to the doctor and see if he'll agree to take you back on. And I'm like, oh shit, okay. So I guess I got dropped at some point in the last 15 years. And yeah, so I'm still waiting for a phone call. I haven't gotten one, but if I don't hear back from them by tomorrow after work, I'm just gonna go to a walk-in. But honestly, by about 10 today, I felt not perfectly fine, but like as long as I don't try and curl my toes, they work perfectly fine. I have feeling back in my toes now, so you know, for the most part, I'm pretty much good. They're just sore and purple and bruised. I'll send you the picture, but
You're never gonna be a dancer.
I'm never gonna dance again. Those guilty feelings got no rhythm. That's a completely
So,
different message in the
Throughout
song,
that
but
whole
still.
thing, did anybody? I need to know this. Did anybody? Can anyone hear me show you my M&Ms? It's important.
No.
Not really.
Awesome.
The picture is on
Is
its
that
way.
Oh, good. Looking forward to that.
It's
a
sent.
mouthful of food.
Well, if we hear pa-ting, ting, 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 we know that you just spat M&Ms all across like a kitchen. So
That's great.
yeah, so
Now I'm
it's-
just sitting here waiting for a gross picture to show up on my phone.
it's not really gross. It's just two toes that look kind of
It's gnarly.
not good.
Great.
So
Looks
that
like my foot in December.
yeah. So I mean, aside from that, I'm doing great.
Oh my god. You know you can actually lose toes doing that. Fun fact.
Yeah. Well,
If you
okay,
lose
yeah.
circulation in a limb for too long, the blood vessels die.
Yeah, I've been massaging them and icing my toes. Like right now, I've got a bag of frozen. What are these? Like carrots or something.
Why would you freeze carrots?
Because I bought like a huge ass fucking bag and I don't want it to go bad by the time I eat it.
It takes them a while to eat vegetables.
It takes them a while to eat anything,
That's true.
except for shit food.
Yeah. So you know, I'm icing them to keep the blood kind of thin and
Did you
get the
did you
swelling down.
WebMD it because you might have toe cancer?
No. Yeah. Well, if you WebMD anything, the worst case scenario is always you have cancer. But we'll get to a spin-off of that in a second. But so when I told my sister, and she's like, go to the clinic. I'm like, no, I'm not going to. She's like, okay, but seriously, trust me, those look broken. I'm like, I'm sure they're not broken. Like, they hurt like a motherfucker, and now it's just, like, become a numb pain thing. But to me, the way I work is my brain is like, well, if they were broken, if they were broken, you'd know. Like, you know, I
don't know though.
I don't claim to be like a tough guy, you know, that's like I can take any pain, you know, or anything like that. But I like to think that I'm also not like the bitchest fucking dude that ever lived, right? So
No, you're not. I once hit you with a goose down pillow that weighed about 10 pounds, and you didn't even go down. So
yeah. So
remember that.
it's just kind of one of those things where I'm like, I don't know if this is crazy. Like, am I like fucked up? Like, is my pain tolerance just so high that I don't know if I broke toes or not? But you know, like I said, I felt the bones and they felt just like.
Find out next week on the episode 4.
Right? Exactly. So they feel just like the other foot, and the other foot's never been broken. So, you know, I think it's probably just a severe sprain.
And yeah, no, that could be
So-
a sprain. Your leftmost toe, I've
The
got the
pinky
picture.
toe, yeah.
Looks broken.
Really?
Kind of. It's bending inwards.
Oh, the other toe does
It's
that
just
too.
his weird feet.
Yeah, my other toe
Okay.
does that too.
Got fucking
But no,
weird
that
feet.
also looks like bruising, but like not internally.
Right.
Because the whole toe, if it was broken, it would be.
You'd think
I mean,
there'd be
it
something
is-
protruding or something.
It's at the digit, so it
Yeah.
could be broken or at least fractured. But it's
Right.
bruised. So wow, this is podcast gold right now.
To me, it looks like just a sprain.
Yeah, that's what I thought. And especially now, since like the pain's gone down. If it was broken, you'd think anytime I put any amount of weight on it, it would just be like, holy shit, this hurts. But again,
Yeah.
I don't know if that means that I have a high pain tolerance and that, you know, it's fine, but it's broken, or if that means like, you know,
Whether or
it's
not
fine and I have a
You
not high
are
pain
like a
tolerance.
descendant of Conan the Barbarian secretly. It doesn't change the fact that you derped getting out of bed.
Well, okay. So getting back to that,
Yeah.
my sister, when she was talking to me, and she's like, "Yeah, so why was your leg asleep?" And I'm like, "I don't fucking know. Maybe I slept on it wrong." She's like, "You should probably get your blood work done." And I'm like, "Oh God, what now?" And she's like, "Well, you know, not to freak you out or anything, but like, numb extremities is a symptom of diabetes." And I'm like, "Fuck
You said
me."
it wrong, Jason.
Sorry, I'll say it like the Americans. Your
better.
numb extremities is a symptom of diabetes. Or diabetes.
Better.
There you go. Diabetes.
Diabetes. And I'm like, okay. She's like, no, I'm sure you're fine. I'm sure you're fine. I'm like, yeah, I'm sure I'm fine too. And she's like, sorry for
Sure, you're
freaking you
fine.
out. Thanks, Kyle.
Yeah, no problem.
She's like, I'm sure you're fine. It's probably nothing. Sorry for freaking you out. I'm like, no, it didn't freak me out. It's just kind of one of those things where I'm like, you know. And she's like, yeah, it's fine. You know, I'm sure everything will work out. And I'm like, yeah, me too. So I think as long as I keep like icing it, massaging it, and you know, gradually putting weight on it, I think it'll be kind of okay. Because like I said, day 2, and it feels fine as long as I try not to curl my toes.
So long as I don't walk on it or move it or you know.
Or touch
Go
it
to
anyway.
work.
Don't even look at it, you know? Yeah, so, I mean, aside from that, we're all good. Now, I'm going to say something here that might be a little bit controversial. But like I said
please do.
before, I'm an asshole, you know? And if you're the Antichrist, I'm Lucifer. So I'm going to live up
So
to that
let's
for
do
a
this.
second. Kyle and I have this
Oh God. Fucking
Pers-
bring me in on this.
person that we know. I won't say how we know this person or the gender.
Doesn't matter.
It might slip out, but it really doesn't matter. So this person that we both equally know had a cough for
Long
probably
time.
about 2 months. And at
Fuck,
first...
longer than that. It
Yeah?
was a long time.
I don't want to have to keep saying this person, so I'm going to say he, because the person is male. So,
Or
he
is it a she?
had a cough, or is it a she? We don't know.
No, wait, stop. I came across the same conundrum a little while ago when I want to tell stories about Jess and daycare, because I
Right.
can't use the kids' real names, so we should come up with a name for you to use.
Okay.
I put it to a vote.
As soon as you said that, I was like, no, that's his actual name.
I just
I
farted.
vote Todd.
Todd. That's a pretty good one. Zach, what do you
Todd's
how do you
gay.
feel about Todd? Yeah, but that kind of works, doesn't it, Kyle?
Yes.
Cody.
Fine, I vote
Cody.
Kyle.
Kyle. No, I don't want to. I don't want to confuse listeners. Is it this Kyle? Is it another Kyle? I don't know.
I don't know. You'll have to figure out. Stay tuned for next week. Bye.
Yeah, so we'll go with Todd. So Todd,
McFarlane.
it's totally Todd McFarlane. So Todd has this cough for 2, 3, 4 months, whatever. And he's like, oh man, it's just this cold. I can't shake it. And after, about a month, our boss was like, hey, you should probably go get that checked out. And Todd, being Todd, was like, no, it's fine. It's just a cough. It'll go away. About 3 months later, he's like, you know what? I'm finally going to go in because this cough just won't go away. It's just this little nagging cough. And so Todd goes in, and they do a chest x-ray and find out that he's got cancer.
Ah.
And this is where I'm at.
Surprise!
Yeah, surprise! WebMD was right! WebMD, I have a cough. You have cancer. Oh, shit! They're right for once.
Well, one out of every... Yeah.
Yeah, right? So, yeah, WebMD was right for once in this circumstance. So, Todd's got this cough. And this cough just won't go away. He goes to the doctor, finds out he has cancer. That's fine, okay? So he goes into the whole treatment thing, does the chemo, loses his hair, looks like, Walter White, Breaking Bad, and, all that fucking shit. Now, Todd's kind of... Kyle and I have nicknamed him the man-child.
But I thought his name was Todd.
Well, yeah.
Wait. Is this going to boil down to, oh, what a whiner, he had cancer?
Yes, kind of.
Yeah, Jason.
Kind of, yeah. It kind of is, and that's where I'm the dick. But, okay, so here's the thing. Man-child stomps around like a child, even though Todd is like 40 or 45, somewhere in there. And, if he doesn't get his way, he stomps around like a child. It's really, like, you'd be like, how fucking old is this guy? Like, it's obscene. Like, fumbling for how to explain it aside from that, so we'll just leave it there. And, so he's man-child. And Kyle died, apparently. Sorry, buddy.
Ha!
You just got destroyed
Where's your
by a
Excalibur
tiger.
now, bitch?
I just looked down and I was like, wait, what? I died?
You're like in real life. You're like, oh, fuck, I'm ascending.
Fucking died? Shit!
Oh, I gotta get on that fucking bus. Call back.
Looks like he tripped and fell out of bed.
Right? Fucking asshole. So, no, there's no clinic at this fucking town either, so I gotta go all the way back to another town to resurrect him. So, yeah. Turns into a man-child whenever he doesn't get his way. It's really actually quite embarrassing. Like, I'm embarrassed for him. Now, goes to the chemo, we end up seeing him again, and, everything's fine, see him regularly. And I've never really had a problem with him before. Like, obviously, the little man-childness tantrums were always annoying, but I've never really been like, man, I fucking hate this guy. Kyle kind of did. But, I was just like, man,
Bad reason.
whatever. Yeah, you had your reasons, but I'm just like whatever, you know. I tend to not. Well, I try not to hold grudges. I'm not too successful with it, but yeah. And congrats, Zach, on leveling up.
Yeah.
Yeah, level 10, buddy. So comes back from having cancer, and you know he beat it, completely cancer free. You know, doing all that stuff. He lost a ton of weight. You know, as you do with cancer and all that. So he comes back and he's totally fine. You know, as you do after cancer, when you can't taste anything, like you know, gorge on everything that you missed out while you had cancer. Like you start eating all your favorite foods again, puts on a bunch of weight. Then he complains about it all the time, about how, oh man, I put on all this weight. I used to be so good. Like, you know, if I would have just kept my weight down after I had cancer, blah blah blah. And you know, now he's, I wouldn't say he's fat, but he is definitely overweight. And you know, it's a common thing that he's complaining about all the time. If I'm going out for lunch or whatever, he'll be like, oh, what are you having? And unless it's like, you know, I'm going home to eat salad, or I'm going to Subway and getting like a no-fat sub, he's like, ow, my heart. And I'm like, fuck. So, like, little comments like that all the time. Like, if I'm like, you know what, I'm just going to run out and grab a burger from McDick's or something and go to Wendy's, he's usually like, ow, my arteries. Like, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And so that stuff kind of grates on you. But when I was telling everybody at work about, you know, my toes this morning and all that, and, you know, my family doctor, and, you know, how the receptionist was like, oh, yeah, I'll call you back when I talk to the doctor, see if he'll take you on again. He goes, so, take it from me, having a family doctor is very important, okay? You want to make sure that you keep your family doctor. You should go and see him like 2 or 3 times a year, maybe even more than that, just to make sure that you keep him, you know? You don't want to get dropped. Take it from me, you know? I had cancer, you know? It's that important. Because you never know. You just might get cancer. And I'm like... I
know everything because...
In the back of my head, you know, I'm like... Or in my mind, I'm like, fuck you. Yeah, you had cancer. Fucking get over it. Shut up.
I was waiting for that line.
Like, yeah, but I had to tell you all that so that you kind of get there. Like... Holy fuck, I get it, and I have sympathy for anybody that has cancer and has to go through it, and, like, it's terrible. He is stronger than me in the sense where if I get told I have cancer and I gotta go through chemo and stuff, the second where it gets to the point where I'm like, wow, man, this sucks, I don't think I can do it, I'm putting a bullet in my head. Because I'm just, it's not worth it to me to go through that shit. And yeah, sure, there's stuff to live for and blah, 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 but fuck that. You know? Like, nah, fuck it, I'll cash in my chips right now. That's how I am. Like, I'm not gonna give up once life gets hard, but I'm not gonna go through...
No, that's pretty much exactly what you're describing.
Fine. Fine. But I'm not gonna go through 8 or 9 months of living hell just so I can live for another, you know, 20 or 30 years of mediocrity. Fuck that shit. I'd rather just cash in my chips and move on to the next life, you know? Whatever that may be. But I'm not...
So you're gonna try and convert me later. Is that this?
Oh, fuck no. No. God, no. I don't know what there is. I'm, you know, I don't like organized religion as a principle, but I'm not willing to say what's right or what's wrong. I just don't care for fanatics at all. So, anyway, you know, like, utmost sympathy for anybody that has cancer, has been through it, or has family members affected by it. I know I have. I know pretty much everybody in this call has. You know... Everybody knows somebody that has gone through cancer in some way or another. And I just, you know, I just don't want to hear all the goddamn time about it.
Podcast is, if it gets really hard, give up.
Yeah. What? Yeah, that's kind of...
Well, you know, you don't want to try too hard.
Well...
And you'll be a tryhard.
Right?
Yeah.
Then you get flamed for being a tryhard. But no, I'm not trying to say, like, you know, I'd give up if it gets really hard or anything. But just there's certain things I don't want to do.
No,
like,
no, that's exactly what you said.
Okay, fair enough. But I think you're boiling it down too much. Okay, if I was like, hey Derek, I'll give you $1 million to swim in a vat of shit for 20 minutes, would you do it? You would do it?
No.
You wouldn't?
No.
Dude, it's 20 minutes for $1 million.
Why not?
Yeah, I'm okay as far as like my life and my setup goes. I'm not gonna do that because then I would have that memory in the back of my head. So I'd say I'm sitting on the beach because I'm enjoying all of that money. I'd be looking back, and every time I pick up my wine glass, looking out into the sunset, I'd have an image in the back of my head of that. And I don't want that being part of my life.
Well, just get like really drunk beforehand and don't remember it.
So you're not willing to go through.
Oh wait,
you're not willing to go through a little bit of
here.
shit.
We can set the circumstances, because then yeah.
Well, he never said he couldn't be drunk.
Because if you blindfold me too, or give me some snorkel gear, then yeah.
My point is, I'm just.
You want to go snorkeling in
There's
that?
there's something. Yeah, what if poop goes down the end of the snorkel? You're fucked.
Oh, God.
But there's just certain
hard.
things that, you know, fuck that, you know? Like a broken bone, fine, whatever. Even if it's, what's that one bone that's like the hardest bone in your body, and if it breaks, it's apparently the most
Femur?
painful thing ever. Yeah. So breaking a femur is supposedly like the most painful thing you can go through in your life, right? And
Right.
fine. Okay, I would deal with that, but I'm not going to intentionally pour a bunch of poison in my body to get rid of something that nobody really knows how it happens, why it happens, or concretely how to get rid of it. They just throw a bunch of fucking radiation at it and go, hope this does it, and I hope
we
it doesn't...
definitely know what it is.
Well, okay, fine, they know what it is, but they don't know exactly what causes it, how to prevent it, or whatever.
No,
Yeah,
more
we don't
people
know
die
what
from-
leads up to that. Yeah.
Like...
More people die from chemo than cancer.
Yeah, we know
Yeah.
we know many people who have smoked for 80 years and gone on to live to 120 and die peacefully in their sleep, and then we know people who have died of lung cancer at the age of 30. Okay, maybe we all
Yes.
don't know somebody in that exact situation, but my point is it does happen. So why would I intentionally pour a large amount of radioactive chemicals into my body, like Chernobyl-type fucking radiation, into my body, only at a much, much less scale, obviously.
Don't be a pussy.
Just to try and, you know, get through it? Fuck that. I'll just cash in my
What?
chips. I'm fine.
No, you're wrong.
Maybe, but that's where we differ then. Anyway,
Like,
getting back to the original thing though. He's
you're totally contesting your own argument.
maybe that's true.
Yeah, I'm not just saying I'm giving up because it's hard, but I'm what I don't want to do it because the process is really difficult.
I'm just saying it could kill you, so why fucking bother? Like, just get it over with.
Wait, but no, that goes back to what you said earlier, is you can die getting out of bed.
That's
so,
true.
I mean,
You can also break your toes getting out of bed. Did you guys know that?
yeah, apparently. Okay, tell
Holy
your story.
shit. So, basically, for about it's been 3 or 4 years now since he had the cancer, and now whenever Todd sees anybody that sporadically he hadn't seen in a long time, they'll be like, oh hey, how's it going, how's the wife and kids, yada yada, and he's all like, oh yeah, they're fine, and be like, oh, so what have you been up to the last like 5 years? Shit, it's been a long time since we saw you. It always comes down to, oh well, I had cancer. It's like, dude, not everybody needs to know about this. Like, shut the fuck up.
Well,
Fucking tell that to Brittany.
I don't know who Brittany is.
I'm using a different fucking name.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying I don't know who the real
wait,
person
we
is.
didn't even get to vote on that.
We didn't get to vote on the female name. What the fuck?
Yeah, who chose Brittany? That's dumb.
Fucking Hitler in this column, motherfucker. Holy shit. But no, it's just like, it's one of those things where I'm just like, dude, you don't need to bring it up all the fucking time. Like, I remember I went out to get, like, a burger or something. He's like, oh, what are you having for lunch? And I said, oh, I'm having this and this. He's like, fuck, that's liable to bring my cancer back. And I'm like, really? I think it was Fat Burger. And I'm like, really? Like, holy shit. He's like, it's in the name, man.
That's a joke that I would make. That
Yeah, but it's just one of those things. Like,
the other point you were making was totally, like, I would absolutely hate it, and I do hate it when people do that, because I have a guy at work that does the exact same thing, and I hate it. Like,
yeah.
always has to comment on everything, and yeah, no, I get that, and that's a certain mentality. So you can kind of understand that they're not going to be able to escape that, and that's just part of them being a shitty person.
Yeah. Well, it's just one of those things that, like I said, it's just super annoying. Like, why do we always have to hear about it? Like,
You know what? Let's
your-
put that in
your
gamer
cancer-
terms. 'Cause
Your
I
cancer
can.
doesn't define your life. Okay, it's an experience you had.
It's
Move
like
on.
if you were, raiding with some people, and someone's build was absolute garbage. You got to deal with how much they suck because their build is absolute garbage.
No, you replace them.
Yeah.
Unless you work with them.
And then you just replace them and tell them at work, hey, it's not personal, sorry. No,
Well,
but like,
you can't replace the guy at your work, but
yeah, fair
my
enough.
metaphor totally clears.
Yeah. I mean, it's not just me that it annoys either. Like, it has come up. Like, other people, too, have been like, holy fuck, man. How many times, does he need to tell you in a week that he had cancer? Like...
Every day.
And I don't mean to be shitting on cancer survivors or cancer victims or anything like that. I don't want it to be misconstrued to be like, this guy hates cancer victims. He wants to gas them all. Like, no, it's not like that. Like I said,
All right there, Hitler.
the utmost respect for anybody who goes through that. I am not strong enough to go through that. Fuck that. I'd rather check out. That's all I'm saying. But if you do, mad respect to you. Just don't rub it in my face
If you
afterwards.
survive cancer, don't be a dick about it. Is that your stories?
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna make another extremely terrible thing here. This might be the last episode, who knows, because I might just get shit on by everybody, but I'm gonna draw the parallel between cancer and gay really quickly for you.
Oh, wow. Fuck.
So,
So you hate gays too?
just in the same sense, okay? If you have cancer, or you go through cancer, and you win or you lose, doesn't really matter. In my eyes, mad respect to you. You deserve.
Doesn't matter if you win or lose. It matters which team you play for.
No. Hold on. Don't get this twisted or anything. Look, listen. So it doesn't matter, win or lose, whatever. And I'm on just cancer at the moment. Okay, so ignore the whole sex thing for a minute. You do you. Mad respect. Hopefully you beat it. But if you don't, tough break. I'm sorry. Condolences. Yada yada yada. Sympathy. Cool.
They're dead.
Yeah, right. But sympathy for the family or whatever. Anyway.
Or whatever.
Or whatever. So, okay, fine. Now, here's where I draw the parallel, right? I don't care if you're gay. I'm not a homophobe. You can fuck whoever you want, okay? You could fuck somebody right in front of me. I don't give a shit. You could be like, hey,
I feel like you're getting.
check it out.
I'm waiting for that sentence you just said to bite you in the ass.
Watch me fuck this dude, and I'd be like, okay, cool. What I'm saying is, just don't try to fuck me, okay? I'm not gay. No problem with gay people. I have a couple gay friends. Cool, you do you. That's fine. Just don't try and involve me in it. I don't want to hear about your orgies on the weekend. I don't want to hear about your fucking gay latex party that you went to when you were in town and you didn't even text me to say, hey, I'm in town, let's hang out and get a coffee or anything. I don't want to hear that. I just, I'm your friend because I like you as a person, not because, of your sexuality or cancer survivorness.
Okay.
So that's where I'm drawing the parallel between cancer and gay.
You made an okay point there. You did
That's
an
what I'm
awful
trying to
job
say.
at making it, but you
Yeah,
made an
it's-
okay point.
In a roundabout way, I got there. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, you got there. Good job. You get a one-handed clap.
Coming from someone who has spent a lot of their life in a hospital, I never talk about that with people. You don't, just because you have cancer, it doesn't need to fucking define you, and you don't need to bring it up all the time.
Right.
It's
We're getting back to telling everyone that's ever had or survived cancer or has cancer to just deal with it.
I mean, pretty much, if shit happens, just fucking get over it.
That's true, and I understand for a certain amount, your problems are your own, and if your family wants to take that on, don't cast it on to strangers.
Right.
Yeah, you can, oh yeah, I had cancer. Just, okay, that's it. That's enough. You don't need to shove it down everyone's throat.
That's what I'm saying.
It's starting to sound like the gay argument.
That's what it feels like.
Well,
That's what it feels like, though, with Todd. Is every conversation, well, not every conversation, but on a good 25% of the conversations that you have with Todd, it always revolves back around to cancer. Somehow, it always gets back there. Like the toes thing. Oh, hey, I might have gotten dropped by my family doctor. Well, you know, it's important. Take it from me. I had cancer. Shut the fuck up! I don't care!
Jason?
We know! What?
Oh, you just said shut the fuck up, so I just said yeah, Jason.
Yeah, okay. We can get off that, because it's starting to get a little ranty.
Yeah.
A little
No,
bit.
you covered a lot of good points. Let's leave that. Leave that while it's on the up.
Contradicted
Kinda.
myself pretty well there, so, you know, whatever. Like I said, I'm an asshole. We'll all be going to hell. I'm driving the bus.
No, you put it pretty good.
Yeah.
We can keep going.
Alright. So, getting onto some game-related topics, though, for, you know, the first time in a couple weeks. I wanted to ask you guys. I know it's still early in 2016.
We're halfway, man.
Yes, but in the terms of gaming year, in the gaming year, we still got 6 months. But I want to ask you, Game of the Year 2016, has it already been released? Is it going to be released? And if it's already been released, what is it?
That's a good question.
Right?
Final
Nothing. All
Fantasy
games
15.
suck.
Okay, one at a time.
Yeah,
Zach first, go.
I'd like Kyle to explain himself about hating on video games in a video game podcast.
We'll get to that in a
Playing
second.
D2 right now.
Zach, go first.
Final Fantasy 15. Like, it'll just win. It doesn't matter if it's good or not. It's still gonna win Game of the Year.
Right.
I don't know.
What else is coming out this year that's super hyped?
I don't know.
I'm googling it right now.
Exactly.
I'm a big Battlefront. Not Battlefront. Shit, I was super excited about it, and I can't even remember it.
Battlefield.
Stormtroopers and
Yeah, Battlefront.
Yeah, Battlefront.
Battlefront. Okay, so yeah, I said it right. Battlefront.
Star Wars
I
Battlefront
used to
3
play that
or whatever?
all the time, and the fact that they released a sequel, I'm totally psyched about.
Oh, this is number 3, I think. The one that was just released, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
pretty dope.
So then that one.
Right.
Didn't that come out last year?
I think
Did
that
it?
might have been in 2015, so I don't think it's
Oh.
eligible.
So I
Okay,
think it
well
came
then-
out before the new Star Wars movie.
Right. You're right. It did, because it cast along with the hype.
Yeah.
Okay, well then I have nothing credible to say in this conversation.
But there's nothing else. Maybe Stellaris.
I don't know.
How do you think that'll do?
It also never. Yeah, I loved Stellaris so far. And did you just get the new patch?
I don't.
Yeah, I know. Cough, cough.
Yeah.
Did you? Yeah.
I can't patch it because I'm having technical issues.
Ah,
So
Yes.
I'm stuck with whichever version I downloaded from their installer.
okay. Before this patch, pro tip then: if you're building a fleet, just make it all cruisers, all of it.
Really?
Yep, mad cruisers, and then just stack evasion as much as possible, and you can cap it at 70% evasion. So when you go to toe with another fleet, they can't hit you.
That's pretty
And
dope.
you just, yeah, you just chew through them. But they just patched that, so now battleships are back on top.
Hmm.
They also upped the range of the bombers of the fighters so that they are actually useful and pretty sweet. And a whole bunch of interplanetary politics fixing, so that
Interesting.
bad guys will, or like other races will also participate in slavery and stuff like that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So, getting back to the original topic, though, do you think that could be a Game of the Year contender, or no?
It's not. It doesn't have enough exposure right now. It really doesn't. It's an underrated game.
Right.
Uh,
I kind of
right
want to
now,
say...
two of the members of this podcast aren't talking because they haven't played it.
Yeah, exactly.
I've not
I
played it.
kind of want to say it's going to be Overwatch or
Yeah, it could
Civ
be.
6. Civ is a huge platform. Like, and if only all those people that knew of Civ played Stellaris, they would know what we're talking about, because it's amazing.
Sure.
I mean, it's Civ in space, but not that shitty fucking space Civ that they released. It's actually in space. You know, it's very, very good. But yeah, so I want to say
Well,
it's probably going to be Overwatch, though, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It
Well,
could be.
just in sheer hype alone. Has anybody here played the new Doom or the new Dark Souls?
I own
Yeah.
the new Dark Souls, and I have played the new Doom.
So, what's your opinion on those?
Dark Souls could be a contender, but I doubt it. Only because it's one of those niche games, right? A lot of people won't buy it because they might see it as too hard. And then
You know what?
a lot of
I've
people-
seen it get a ton of exposure, though.
And a lot
Like,
of
it's-
people
it's
do
out
buy
there.
it because they're like, oh, you know, the old era of hard video games. It doesn't hold your hand. It's relentless, and people are turned on by that. But then there's others who, they'll be like, what? No, fuck that shit. If it doesn't hold my hand, how's it gonna rub my dick?
So you're redneck?
Yeah, basically, I'm saying rednecks.
Gotcha.
All of Zack
And
Snyder's.
also, what are you talking about? Are you talking consoles or got a cast on this, or is it just PC exclusive?
No, either one. I mean, game of the year, you know? It's the game of the year.
Because as far as like high score goes, the latest Uncharted rated like incredibly high.
That could be a contender as well. Or
Yeah,
They
Fallout.
always do. I remember like that was the first game that ever got an IGN Perfect 10 or something.
Right.
I was right up there with one of the Grand Theft Autos for like record-breaking highs.
Right.
So that's up there. That released this year, and I mean The Witcher released this year.
Yep.
No, that was
Fallout.
last year. Was
Oh,
Witcher
yeah, The
3?
Witcher was last year. Witcher 3 was...
so was Fallout.
Was it? Fuck me.
Yeah, they were both last year.
What? Oh, okay. Well,
They were fall releases.
I know Grim Dawn is like 2014, even though they've been doing some massive overhauls in 2016. The game is dope. If you haven't played it, you should download it. I'll send you a link to their official store page where you can buy it. But it's super good. It's like Diablo, but with a better storyline. Because let's face it, Diablo 3's storyline is dookie.
ugh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's Diablo.
True.
No,
But
but
it's
hold
the
on.
storyline,
Diablo
the
2's
atmosphere.
storyline was great. I love
True.
Diablo 2 storyline.
Diablo
I
1
actually
and 2
gave
were
a shit.
amazing. And the
I-
first two acts of Diablo 3 were amazing as well.
Yeah, I was getting into it, and then it just totally, it had third act problems
And fourth
and,
act.
and fourth act.
We should never have fought in heaven.
No, and I mean, if you're gonna do it, make me care about it.
Right?
Like, yeah, no, they
I-
just didn't.
There was a huge gripe with the game. A lot of people didn't like how the Leah Diablo had a female figure. And I'm like, well, Diablo's going to assume the host's body. And
Wait,
Yeah.
that was their problem with the game?
Well, a lot of people were like, what the fuck? Diablo's a dude. Why has he got like a girly figure with like that hourglass
He's not a
shape and
dude
blah, blah,
or a
blah.
chick. He's a demigod.
Yeah, well, he's a demon, right? Like, he's
Yeah.
the aspect of terror incarnate. Like, that is... He is terror.
And how is that not a woman? Like,
Exactly! You say terror, I'm thinking, fuck, I remember my ex.
yeah, I know. I'm shaking my
Jesus.
head over here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jess is going to
Um,
listen to this podcast, and you're going to get slapped right about now in the
Uh,
podcast. And
She's
she's
gonna get
listening to it.
flicked.
Flick. Yeah, okay, fair enough. So, Kyle, what about
Uh,
you? What do you think, Game of the Year? Mm-hmm.
I don't
That's-
know. I don't know
what-
any games that are coming out.
Really? You've been
Yeah,
kind
I
of staying away
would
from
want
games,
to say
then.
Overwatch, really. It's the only thing I can think of.
I actually got to play it recently, and I'm okay with it. I'm not usually that type of game player, but
Right.
I had
Like,
fun.
It's got really good like instant appeal, but it gets a
Yeah.
bit old.
What I found is it's working something that like when the first Halo game came out, they had a behind the scenes thing, and I remember being little and watching behind the scenes things. I had nothing else to watch, and they said that they are capitalizing on this loop of enjoyment that you play, where you get into an engagement and you're like, oh, totally hyped about it, and you play through the same like 15 seconds of fun over and over again.
Right.
Like they've found a way to bottle that. So they play short matches very quickly, reload it all the time, and make it so that the playthrough is constant, right? It's objective based, so that's you're constantly having something to do, and no one is camping. So, or if it is camping, it's really minimum. So, I mean, they've kind of streamlined it. So I can see it's like a recyclable fun, and maybe that'll get Game of the Year. But as far as like any sort of story content goes,
Oh
there's
yeah.
nothing there. Nothing there.
Right. Well, they did release a bunch of like YouTube vignettes about like each character and like kind of like why you should care about them, like their storyline and everything. And their like
Yeah.
BlizzCon release trailer when they first showed it off, and there's like those two kids walking into the like a historical museum or like a whatever it was, and they're like, oh, remember the battle of blah blah blah, and Tracer was there, and then all of a sudden like shooting erupts and Tracer shows up and she's like, hello loves, and you're like, oh, okay, it's that kind of game. Like,
Yeah.
you know, that was really cool when they first showed it off, and you know, I was pretty excited for it. But then I realized I'm not an FPS player, and then I was like, now I don't care about it. And I mean, it got released, and I got a lot of friends who play it. Like my whole BattleNet friends list, whenever I'm on D3, is like there's 2 people on D3, 2 people on WoW, and about 35 people playing Overwatch. And I'm just like, man, more power to you. Like, if you enjoy it, enjoy the fuck out of it. But I can't. You know, if I wanted to play that game for the last 10 years, I would have been playing Team Fortress. Derek just died. Sorry, buddy.
It's alright. Damn it.
Yeah.
And I agree with you. I mean, I think it's got hype and it's got moment right now that it's the best in its element, which is what happens with games. But, I mean, no, not worth it. I like story as well. My credentials of being a gamer are literally all about story. You can't.
No, you said it wrong. It's literally.
That's what you get for not talking, Kyle.
Right.
That's what you get. I've actually kind
He's
of
just tuned us out. He's just like, fuck. those
literally.
guys.
He's totally in the zone.
Oh, like I got into the beta fairly early for it, and I played, I don't know, maybe 100 hours. I got to like rank 35 or something, and it was pretty fun up until then. But it gets super repetitive really quick.
Yeah, that. Well, like you said, like it's the same fun loop over and over.
Yeah,
They did
And, like-
mix it up a bit. There's like how many different classes? 16 or something.
yeah, and you can swap throughout the game between classes and stuff, which keeps it fresh. But it's still, I don't know.
Well, it's like when you're landing a game or something. You know, you only played the same game for so long, and then you switched it up because there's only so much of that one rut you can ride.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
But do you find that there is games that you can just play and play and play and play and play and play?
Yeah. Diablo 2.
Yeah. Well, like for me, like Diablo 3 right now, I can rift constantly as long as I'm playing with like Kyle and Zach, for example. We can just go, you know.
There's something in that story-wise that drives me, but usually it's creativity that drives me in a game. So I could also sit down and play Fallout 4 or Minecraft for decades.
Yeah,
Like-
I mean, I could play either of those for a long time too. But
Shit, I should be playing Minecraft right now. I'm totally gonna fucking do that.
right. And you know, like games like I have this terrible habit of like getting a game, falling in love with it, playing it for like about 13 hours, and then reverting back to a game that I just that I was otherwise
What the
playing.
fuck is this? It doesn't have hardcore mode. Ugh.
My character died and I'm still allowed to play? Alright, I'll play for another hour and then I'm done. No, but there's games that, like, for example, like Diablo, that I'll just play constantly. And, you know, while I might not play it every single day for the rest of my life, you know, I might take a week or two off, get, you know, Dark Souls, for example, play about 10 to 12 hours of Dark Souls, and then, you know, like, perfect example, I bought Dark Souls on the PS4, played it, I probably got about 13 hours into it, I've killed maybe half the bosses in the game, and I haven't touched it for almost 2 months.
Yeah.
Haven't even
Yep.
turned on my PS4. Why? Because, you know, I'll play Dota with my team, or I'll play Diablo, or, you know, 100 other games. It's just very few games do I ever actually beat.
Well, that
sad.
might be a you problem.
It definitely is a me problem.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I tend to do the same thing. Like unless it's like a really good RPG or an MMO or Dota or shit like that. I play things for like 15 hours and get bored and go back to whatever else I was playing.
Actually, you know what? I can't even knock that. I've done that with a couple of different games. I just probably am not as aware of it because I'm less likely to buy and play new games than you guys. Like statistically, as I like my gaming, the bulk of my gaming, I guess, would probably be sticking to the same old games or tabletop.
Right.
So my exposures are kind of different.
There's a very real possibility that we get party wiped right here.
Whoa.
Zach and Kyle just both ripped, and I got paralyzed. We'll see.
So
how
it's
this
up to
turns
me?
out. No, it's up to me. Zach and Kyle are dead. You've been dead for a while. Okay, I'm alive.
Oh.
Time to get out of this dungeon before you fucking rip. Should have grinded more. God damn it. Also, I could have topped up my party after coming down to this floor, but whatever.
That's definitely all your fault.
Oh, totally.
Yeah. Yeah.
Killed our party on purpose. Literally.
Yeah,
Hitler.
what the fuck?
Literally Hitler and Satan mixed together.
Mm-hmm. I was there. You totally are.
Oh, paralyzed. This could be it. 3 hit points at a time. So, let's see. We handled that. Let me turn the tides here for a little second. So, about 12 years ago, I was playing Warcraft 3, right? And then this game came out called Dota. And I fucking loved it, right? And I played that forever. And then Dota 2 came out. And this problem was never really a problem. Like, when I was younger, mostly because I guess I had the patience for it. But now that I'm older, like, how do you guys handle bad players?
That's a good question. Kind of like what you said earlier about not having to deal with them. Just bail. Like, try to adjust your environment so you don't have to deal with them.
Yeah.
Because
like, I can't.
Yeah, I can't either. I can't handle that.
If I'm playing like a ranked game though, like if I leave, I'm gonna get an abandon, end up in low priority where I've got 4 incredibly bad teammates. You know, so it's like I have to play with them in order to get out of this kind of shithole, and it's like holy fuck. You know. That's why I don't play solo ranked anymore. It's just
exactly
too painful.
I can't solo queue in Dota anymore. It's bad.
I wouldn't know how to approach that particular problem. Just I'm not exposed to that same game, so I don't know the mechanics of having or being able to bail. What have you done to try to counter that?
I just mute them, or don't play it, and that's the bad part, you know. I can mute them, but then I just get the Brazilian ping, which I don't know if you know what that is, but in Dota, if you hold Alt and you click anywhere on the map, it'll go ping. Well, if you can click 3 times, it'll go ping, ping, ping. And if you click 74 times in a row, it goes ping, 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 ping. I'm not going to continue doing that 74 times, but you get the point.
Well, what happens to the 4th one?
Ping. And the 5th is also
okay,
ping.
so that sucks.
Even if you mute them, you still get that. And that pisses me off even more than them being stupid to begin with.
Yeah, that's kind of unmanageable. Well, literally unmanageable. Well,
you know,
I guess you just have to not play.
That's I now exclusively only play when it's team practice time.
Yep.
And I was just wondering if you guys had a way for me to play ranked games ever again. If there's a magic secret.
I would know. Zach, do you have any magic secrets to kind of get him out of that?
It's kind of
play a different game.
We both have that problem because we're on the same team. We can't even like play just the 2 of us because then we both are like, okay, cool, we're getting this game. Oh, this guy stole my role. Okay, whatever. It's gonna be one of those games, and then he fucking sucks. And it's like, all right, sure glad that guy took my role.
Can you like beat him at his own game? Can you maybe like troll him out of the game or find kind of a niche that?
I guess maybe that's the only way to salvage it, but then I'm still gonna lose the game. Still gonna lose my internet points, you know. My arbitrary points on the number scale that doesn't mean anything. I'll lose those, and those matter.
Okay.
Digital points matter, God
I
damn
have
it.
no way of helping you then.
I know, right? It's very tricky. So, okay, let me just narrow this down then. How do you guys deal with bad friends in games?
See, that's way harder because you can't.
Yeah,
just
it is way harder.
For me, I always just look at it as, this guy sucks. I'm just gonna enjoy this for the fun of playing with this guy. Either against him and I'm gonna shit on him 100 times, or with him I'm just gonna fucking do trolly shit and enjoy it. You know, even though it's definitely gonna be a loss. I'll never queue ranked because it's gonna be a loss because this friend sucks.
My experience is a little bit different because the games I play are interactive on a different level. Like, you're literally playing with the person in the room. So I've just kind of find a way to like communicate to them a better way the thing that they could be doing. But also my role is different because if I'm playing with all of these people, sometimes I am on the same level as them, but sometimes I'm the DM, and when I'm the DM, I'm the god of the game, so you can't.
Okay, I'll give you a
understand.
scenario. How's this?
Okay, yeah, please do.
I've never D&D'd before, so this will be kind of fun. So set me up a scenario. Maybe we just walked into a room and there's like some skeletons there, and like we all got to take our actions or whatever, right? And
Sure.
I'll be the shitty friend.
All
okay?
three of you pick a role that you are. Pick a fighter or be a fighter.
I'm a mage.
I'm gonna be like an assassin with like
All right.
2 little daggers and like poison dripping off of it. Yeah.
Awesome.
Cool.
Okay.
I'll be a
And what do you want to be?
minstrel
A minstrel. What's a minstrel?
or bard. Similar.
Bard.
concept.
Okay, bard. Bard is perfect. I've played a bard before, and they're tons of fun. Okay. So we got a bard, an assassin, and what was the other one? A mage?
I want to be a mage.
Okay, he's a mage. So you want me to DM this
Yeah.
via Skype?
Yeah. Real quick. We just walked into a room and there's skeletons. Okay.
Okay, so you're in the depths of a dungeon. It's dark. It's hard to see. Jason, you're holding the torch
Nice.
because you're in the front of the
First
group.
ever.
You also blend in the best in the shadows, so you feel comfortable holding the torch because if shit goes south, you figure you'll just ditch it with the bard, and then you're going to kind of leave him.
Right.
Because
Fuck the
assassins
mage.
are assassins are usually not to be trusted, and mages can kind of handle their own stuff because they kind of have a glow, like a light radius to their own self. So you're in a
Yeah.
dungeon,
Right.
and it's dark, and you kick in a door, and immediately there's 3 skeletons that are just kind of sitting there waiting for you. What do you do?
I take off my pants.
Excellent. That means you put your daggers down. Do you sheath them, or do you put them on the floor?
I give one to each of my party members and I say, hold this for a second, and then I take off my pants.
Okay, do you guys pick them up, or what do you do with them?
Drop it. I'm playing my loot. How can I hold a dagger?
Nice. Okay. So you start playing the loot.
But
Kyle, what do you
hold on. I handed it to him,
No,
but
hold on. It's still the other player's turn.
But no, but I was holding the handle, so he would have had to touch the poison blade. How does he not cut himself?
He rolled good for it.
Okay, I guess I can accept
But also, Kyle, what do you do with the dagger?
I throw it in the darkness.
that. Dude, that's my dagger! I told you to hold it!
Okay,
Oh,
cool.
you're
mine.
such an ass.
Alright, I have my
Jason-
staff. I don't need your
Jason,
shit.
your pants are down and around your ankles, but not off. Sci-Fi, you're sorry, Zach, you're playing the loot, and the skeletons don't give a shit. Kyle, what are you doing?
Standing there, surprised.
Awesome. Okay, Jason, the first skeleton's gonna take a swipe at you.
Go ahead.
What are you gonna do?
Look out!
I'm gonna duck at the same time as take a shit.
Okay. You know what? Can we put this on hold for just a second because I'm gonna actually go get a D20.
No.
so I can tell you-
Hold
No,
on.
no,
No, you don't need to. But that's my point. This is my
Jess
point.
is getting one for me.
Oh shit.
Okay, no, fate. The dice are your fate. It
Oh,
decides on
God.
how well you do something. So, you. Okay. I'm gonna roll what you described. Okay, so you rolled a 2 out of
Oh.
20, which means while that happens, that you defecated in your own pants when you tried to do that maneuver.
Shit.
Twisted and caught the sword in your shoulder.
Oh fuck.
You're
Okay.
a fucking idiot. You're the worst assassin I know.
I really had to take a shit, dude. Like, what? Skeletons? Did you see them? Oh, they're
You're
made
gonna
of
take,
bones, dude.
You're gonna take a couple of future penalties to dealing with skeletons because this might bring on nightmares for your character.
Okay, so basically what
So
we're
hold
getting
on,
to is Derek's got a very good way of dealing with bad players in D&D. I just wanted to see how that would go.
Yeah, I punish you for
Okay.
acting poorly.
So in D&D, that kind of works. Like you can get away with that. And
Yeah, if you guys are gonna act like that, then I can punish you for
But-
it. And
so-
by the way, if you want to add this to the podcast, I'm totally game.
maybe we will one time. Who knows? But you know, maybe if we can get some more people or something, we can do it. But
4 is perfect. Just saying.
really, okay. Well,
yeah.
in any case,
I wouldn't want more than that. Not at all. That would be perfect.
fair enough. So, but in any case, like you can take that bad player and kind of, you know, just be like, whatever, you're gonna do whatever. You might get yourself killed and have to sit there on the couch and watch us play for an
You know
hour,
what?
right?
It doesn't always work though, because
Right.
I have one player in my other group the one that Jess DMs for, and he does ridiculous shit all the time.
Right.
But his dice, I don't know what it is. I'm pretty sure they're loaded, or at least they're pretty predisposed. That he rolls incredibly high all the time, so he gets away with it all the time.
Weighted
So I
dice.
understand. Pretty much. So he has ridiculous things happen all the time. So sometimes you just gotta deal with it. So I don't have a way around that. You can kind of just try and turn it into a positive experience, but Dungeons and Dragons is a different game for that. Like it's
Yeah.
not affecting the same way as it's affecting your game because you have like stats involved and
Well, plus,
more rigid.
if for example, like as a DM, let's say the party, you know, strolls into a tavern and the dumbass or the bad player is like, oh, I want to go get drunk, you know, and then, you know, okay, roll to see if you get drunk. Oh, he rolled an 18. Cool, you are very, very drunk. The rest of the party, what do you do? And they decide that they're going to leave him there. You can, for example, as the DM, say, you are still passed out. Okay, next person's turn. Like, if you wanted to as a DM, I guess you could do that, right? Like, you could really punish that person.
I
Be
can
like,
leave them there. Yeah.
you can be like, look, if you don't want to be serious about this and have fun with the group, and you just want to quote-unquote get drunk, I will leave you there for 6 or 7 turns so that you get the point that it's not just you that you're here to amuse, it's the whole group as a whole, right?
I guess that's true. I can totally punish players. So yeah, my outlook on that is if someone is messing up in your game, punish them.
Interesting. And if they're a friend?
Punish them. If they're your friend, they'll understand.
Fair enough.
Like
So
you
there's-
would straight up tell me if I
There-
sucked at a game.
Oh, yeah, definitely. But there's some people that I can't be that open with. I mean, I guess I could, and then they'd just no longer be my friend, and then I guess this whole problem is kind of moot. But Kyle and Zach know exactly who I'm talking about. But this person wanted to play Diablo.
Give him a
with
name.
us.
Give him a name.
Okay, pick a name.
Jerry.
Jerry. So Jerry wanted to play Diablo with us, and we're like, okay, but we're playing hardcore. And Jerry's like, yeah, that's fine, whatever. So we power level him. What that entails is we enter a T6 rift, Torment 6 rift. You stand at the door, and the highest level, like whoever's doing the power leveling, will run off and kill stuff. And as long as you're on the same floor as the person killing everything, you get the XP. Right? Very simple. So
Okay.
you can go from level 1 to 70 in as quick as 2 or 3 minutes. It's very, very quick. And then you can start gearing up and playing with them in higher tier rifts and have more fun as a group. Right? It's just a very quick way to get you up to speed with the rest of your friends. So Jerry is like, yeah, totally. So I tell him, you know, hey, we're going to power level you. Stay at the door, and I'll tell you when to TP on me, when it's safe, yada, yada, yada. We get in the rift.
Right.
I tell him, okay, it's safe. They come in the door. I run off to start killing shit. All of a sudden, Jerry gets fucking obliterated with something. I look at my map, and he's halfway into following me. And I'm like, okay. So I re-explain the problem, and re-explain, this is how you do it, blah, blah, blah. Happens again. We went through a night where we power leveled Jerry 6 times before he finally got a level 70 character. Now, that's not a lot of time. That's maybe 30 or 40 minutes invested, but Kyle, Zach, and I could have been, you know, doing greater riffs, pushing greater riffs, or just doing riffs to get more gear for our main characters, right? Like,
well, does that boil down to his own inexperience or just his inability to do it?
I think, guys, help me out here, but I think Kyle has nicknamed him Dumbfuck because I think he honestly, if he doesn't have some sort of mental disability, I would be surprised.
Oh, well, that brings about a whole different realm of questions then.
But I don't want to treat him like he's special because I don't think he is. I think he's just not bright, you know? But he's got a good job, one that clearly takes education, clearly takes, you know, paying attention and attention to detail.
Yeah, but some people aren't good at things. Would you let the three-legged horse in the race, or would you let that one kid on your soccer team? Like, it comes down to that too.
He works in the medical field. So he can't be a dumbass, is what I'm saying.
Well,
I don't
I
wanna
mean,
give too many
Colin's
details,
girlfriend is
but-
in the medical field, and she got kidnapped in D&D. So, I mean,
Yeah, but I just took a sword to the shoulder and shit in my own pants. So let's put a grain of salt in that, eh? So I mean, we're talking about a guy that, you know, will run out in, you know, to pick up a legendary while being power leveled when the legendary dropped when he was level 40. Which means when we're
Doesn't
finished
get it.
power leveling him in 2 minutes, that item is completely useless. Like,
Yeah.
any white item that drops will be better than that legendary just because it dropped when you were level 24. It is, or 40, it is useless. There's literally no use for it.
literally.
Literally no use for it. So,
Yes.
Kyle and Zach both know who I'm talking about. It's Jerry. And, you know, my question to you is, like, what do you just not play with him? Do you try and, you know, power level him up again and every time he inevitably dies because he's going to, because he's a bad player? You know,
Well,
do you
and
just-
you know what? I think you did it exactly right. I think you do it the one time or do it a couple times, and if they catch on, that's great. But if not, then no. I mean,
Right.
if it's hurting your game,
Well, another example, he looked up a build, what he's supposed to be doing, or more specifically, I gave him the build, and it is a tank monk build, okay? The build does no damage. Absolutely no damage. Like, at Torment 2, in full best in slot, purely ancient gear, the best of the best, in Torment 2, it would take you like 6 or 7 seconds to kill a random white skeleton.
whoa.
Because on the sheet, you do maybe 10,000 damage.
Okay.
Where I'm doing 3 million, you might do maybe 10,000 if you're lucky. But what your role is when we're doing greater rifts, you're the one standing in the middle of all the enemies, and you're just vacuuming them all on top of you and stunning them, and you can take all the hits in the world and never die. But instead of looking up a build that he could better use to farm to get more gear quicker, he just uses this build that does absolutely no damage and takes 20 minutes to clear a rift. And to me, my brain's going like, why are you doing that? You should be more efficient with your time. Go with another build, farm rifts faster, so that you can spend your blood shards at Kadala, or craft better legendaries to go with that set. Don't use that set if you're not actually doing that role at the time.
Yeah, but he's not going to know that as an inexperienced player.
But even when I tell him, he's just like, oh,
Yeah,
I'm good.
But he doesn't have the same information. You guys aren't working with the same information. Like, you're going into this with years over top of him on how to play a game, right? Like, literally
He's played Diablo
years.
before. He
Yeah,
told
he's
us
played
he
it.
had.
Not everybody plays the same, though. Like, you
Yeah,
can be a
fair.
casual. What you're describing is you're frustrated with a casual. Right?
Well,
That's basically what it is.
if you build yourself up to be the best basketball player of all times, and I hand you a basketball and you can't hit a three-pointer at least 4 out of 5 shots, then you're not the best basketball player of all time. Period. So don't
Okay,
call yourself the best basketball player of all time. And I'm not saying that he ever claimed to be the best player of all time, but he was like, oh yeah, I used to be addicted to this game, it was super good, I had so much fun, put so many hours into it. I never played the expansion, but I got this many hours, and it's like, I can see, just from the principle of the point of the very basic stuff, you're not doing right. Like, he puts a ruby in his weapon, which is plus damage. Nobody puts a ruby in their weapon. Ever. Nobody. Ever.
Anymore.
They did for the first 2 months of release. After that, they stopped. Why? Because crit damage is way better.
Yeah.
Or, reduce cooldown is way better. Or thorns, if your thorns build, is way better. Like, damage is purely the worst. You get your damage from every other piece of gear. You don't need to socket your weapon with a ruby. And even after explaining it, no, I'm good.
Yeah,
Very
like,
frustrating.
people that do this and talk themselves up to something they have no idea what they're doing with. Like, what is the end game? Like, what is the purpose? Like, you're gonna get found out, and then what? Like, I have a really good example. I used to be a manager at our local ski area, and we were interviewing this girl, and she was like, yeah, I just moved here, and I don't have any of my snowboard gear and stuff, but I was almost pro at my last area, and I was gonna go pro and all this shit. So we're like, all right, whatever. Seems like a cool chick. She seems to know her shit. So we hired her. Like, we tried to get her. We worked in the rental shop, so she could have any fucking gear she wants for free and go out anytime. And this, like, she won't go out for like months and months and months. And finally, we get her to go out, and it is blatantly, like, obvious she has never been on a snowboard in her entire life. And like why? Just like, I don't get the point. Like, why would you say that? Why would you claim to be a pro when you've never done it?
I guess in both of those circumstances, they wanted to be involved with what was going on, but weren't qualified. Right?
I kind of feel like in that scenario, though, like, even if you weren't qualified, like, I've never played D&D in my life. Am I interested in it? Yes. Would I play it? Yes, in a heartbeat. But I've never had a group that's been like, hey, let's play D&D. So
Yeah, exactly.
I've just, but if you invited me to come play D&D, and you have, and if I ever did, and I sit down and everybody's like, oh, hey, so have you ever played before? I wouldn't be like, oh yeah, dude, I used to play all the time with this person and this person and this person, because at my very first move, it would become very evident that I'd never even seen anything to do with D&D ever before in my life.
And you know what? You're absolutely right, and it's very selfish on their part, which that's what you're describing.
Yeah, but it's like, what's the point? You're gonna get found out. Why even bother? If it's just to fit in, like, you don't want to fit in with those people anyways. Because they're gonna find out, then they're gonna distrust you for as long as your relationship is, because your very first interaction with them, you lied about what you can and can't do.
Oh, maybe these people just haven't been called out like that before.
Maybe. I mean,
So what you're saying is I should call, what did we name him?
Jerry.
I should call out
fuck.
Jerry on it, and just be like, Jerry, hey, I know you said this, but it's very obvious. You fucking suck, bro.
Well, I would know how to actually navigate the conversation way of that, but what do you guys think? Do you think that's like the constructive way to...
I think that
Can't say anything
depends
without
if-
fucking hurting somebody's feelings.
yeah.
Everybody's
also
so fucking
true.
PC nowadays too, so yeah.
Like, someone who will go to those lengths to convince you they're good at something are gonna get butthurt when you call them out on it.
It's true. That's another point. So there's no way around it. These people are imposing themselves on you, essentially.
Yeah.
Sounds like you're fucked.
Yeah, so basically I've been kind of bouncing between the two options of just not playing with... I already forgot his name again. Barry? What was his name?
Jerry.
Jerry. Sorry, Jerry.
Fucking
When we
hell.
don't use real names, it's very hard because I'm stopping myself from saying Jerry's real name. And then I'm losing track of, like, what did we rename him to, so Jerry.
You
yeah.
gotta be able to keep track of fake names, especially if you want to play Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh, that's no problem, because I just associate, okay, Derek's name is Mr. Big Spoon. Simple.
Okay, well, when you're making up fake names, use the same principle.
Yeah,
have to
but
make
if-
a rule where
but
it
with
can't be
you,
taken.
if I accidentally am like, oh, hey, Derek, I cleaned up the shit from my pants, and you're like, okay, roll to see if you got all of it, like, you wouldn't be like, don't fucking call me Derek! You'd be like, all right, you're supposed to call me Mr. Big Spoon.
Well,
or
hold on.
Mr. Dungeon
Hold on.
Master.
We do have a swear jar for that
Right.
kind of deal. Because of, like, you're not supposed to... It ruins the immersion for some
Yeah,
people.
I get that, but I'm saying it's not, like, not gonna cause a problem, whereas if I use Jerry's real name, and he hears this, he could get very upset, and that could be, you know, the end of that. Mind you, I wouldn't be too upset about that anyways. Let's be completely honest. But, I like his company. Jerry's a really nice guy. He's a nice guy to talk to and everything, and, very relaxed, very chill person. So, I enjoy his company, but at the same sense, like, some people might take it the wrong way, and then just be like, am I Jerry? Be like, But anyways, yeah, no, as far as, like, trying to... Even letting it slip once could be a huge problem, because you never know how somebody's going to react to hearing about, wow, this is what they really think of me? Mind you, if you asked, I'd be like, hey! That's all I think of you.
Yeah,
I'll tell you
that was a
straight
lot,
up, I don't
but
give a
yes.
fuck.
But yes.
Yeah.
I agree. No, it's kind of hard to deal with.
Yeah.
So you have my sympathies.
So what you're saying, let's move on to the next topic. What's your guys' pet peeve related to gaming?
Well,
Stupid people.
Yeah.
That's it?
yeah, no.
Or people that, if you're playing a team game like Dota, they speak, for example, Spanish, or a language that for the other people do not speak.
Fair
And then when you don't understand them, they just fucking spam ping you.
That to me, that's very annoying and very anger worthy, but that's not a pet peeve for me. Mine
I hate it.
is
I can't stand it.
keybinds. It just
Keep
nope. Like, I know for you this might trigger you. My keybinds in WoW 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 0 minus equals, and then shift modifier for all those keys. I used to play Brood War. My hand is very, very easily flexible from shift all the way to backspace. So it's not a problem for me. But other people might be like, how the fuck do you hit those keys in a panic, blah, blah, blah. Like,
Wait,
how do
you can
do
hit
it?
shift and backspace at the same time?
Yep.
Like your left shift?
Yep.
With one hand?
Yep. Next
My hand's not
time
that big.
I'm near a keyboard, I'll show you. Remind me.
I am stretching all the way, and I got to the plus, but I can't do it.
Yeah, I can do it. Easy.
Weird.
Call him on his bullshit. Call him on
Yeah.
his bullshit.
I call bullshit. I want to see a picture. You sent me your fucking
Alright.
toes. Send me that.
Alright, I'll take a picture after the podcast and I'll send it to you.
No, do it now. We must hear the
Fine.
click.
Fuck, hold on.
Ha, I got your back, Derek.
I'll hold down
Thanks,
both
Kyle.
keys and take the picture. How's that? Actually, I'll need to do it on this window so that I don't accidentally, like, close.
You watch. It's going to be like rocking a BlackBerry or something. Tiny keyboard.
No, it's a
No.
SteelSeries 6 GV2.
I use the same key bindings though, but I just set all my important stuff on 1 through 5 and shift 1 through 5, and like I never have to hit shift fucking plus. Like,
Why do I feel like such a weird
It's okay.
person talking about keybinds to you?
But my
Why
point
do you?
is, with the keybinds, like, that would trigger Kyle, for example, because he's like, what the fuck? And you guys were
my
like,
God.
wow, how do you do that? And I'm like, I don't know, I just can. So for me, that's just like one of those things where I'm just like, I can do it. And other people are like, wow, I can't. By the way, there's a iPhone case in there for so you can see like scale, and also the Slurpee cup for scale. But that's
Oh, good. Thanks.
yeah, it's actually the same cup that you drank out of. Which, by the way, it was Thor, not Halo.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Fuck you guys are weird.
Yeah, so that's a callback from last week. Yeah, so that's one of those things where, but I'll see somebody with their keybinds, and it's like, like there's 6, like on their row of 1 through equals. Mine's 1 through equals, and theirs is like Alt Q, Shift Tab 2, Control Alt F10, and then G, and then like Alt Shift left arrow, and it's like, these are so fucking abstract. How do you do it? And I'm watching them play, and they're just doing it perfectly fine. I'm like, how the fuck is this even possible?
Yeah, it's like my key bindings.
Yeah, it's nuts,
1 2 3 4 Q Z C E R T 9 F.
right?
yeah, but aren't those legacy keys from Warcraft
No,
3?
this is in WoW.
But those are also
Well,
all very close to the home WASD. right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you had, you know, like the parentheses and the brackets and alt modifiers for your num lock, or, you know, like whatever, like all the way across the keyboard, like keybinds that in my mind make no sense. That's my pet peeve. Because it's like, how could you possibly hit those in a panic? I can hit, you know, shift equals very comfortably. I can hit shift backspace. I just proved it in a text message, you know, and
Yeah, you did.
it's, right?
I can confirm it.
And it's very clean. You know, it doesn't stretch my hand. I'm not getting any pain. You know,
I
that's
think
just
your Steel Series is probably shorter than my Razer. I think mine's spread out.
Maybe.
I don't know. I'll send with a picture and just show you, because yours looks bunched up more than mine.
It's just a standard keyboard. It's a SteelSeries 6 GV2. So if you look up that, it'll have its dimensions. It's roughly 26 by 7 dimensions.
Well, here, I have a tape measure right here, and
Actually-
I have a Razer keyboard. It is 18.5 long.
Oh, wait, actually, you know what? Can you measure the space between the shift and the backspace?
Yeah. It's roughly 11.5 inches.
That looks about right. Jason, do you have a frame of reference for that?
I have a size 11 shoe. Maybe a size 12.
Awesome. Yes,
I have a
please.
tape measure. I got a 6 GV2 as well. I can go measure it. Or I mean, you can go to the SteelSeries website.
I don't know, my shoes are
There's no measurement for between shift
No.
key and.
shoes are too big. I don't know. But I probably got like, I don't know, I work with measurements all day. I'd say this is probably 14 inches from the end of my pinky to the end of my thumb. It's probably 14. Maybe 15.
That's so weird.
I
I
know.
don't even.
Like, I have a very, like, I don't know, I've just always been able to stretch my fingers like that, and, like, there's no pain, there's no discomfort, like I said, it's just
do
natural.
your toes do that too? Because that could explain a lot.
No, my toes do not do that. Otherwise, they might have gotten the fuck out of the way when I went to jump out of bed. They'd have been like, RUN!
No, or the other way, you would have hit them on the coffee table and the dresser at the same time.
Even though they're in two different rooms.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah, so I mean, you know, that's just keybinds though for me. Like, or I'll watch somebody play WoW and they won't have keybinds and they'll be clicking on the buttons on their
Oh
on
my
their
God.
bars, and I just, it's almost like watching a girl streamer. I can do it for about 30 seconds and then I can't watch it anymore. Nothing against female streamers. Actually, I guess this is everything against female streamers. But most of them are just, you know, low-cut tops, and the webcam takes up more than a quarter of the screen.
Yeah.
And it's like, holy fuck. You want to see a perfect example? Kitty Plays Games, one of the most popular Twitch streams that hasn't been banned. And, you know, okay, the clothing is mostly modest most of the time. But every donation... Oh my god, thank you so much. Oh, you're such a huge help. Thanks, sweetie. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining the kitty club, or whatever it is that she says. And her webcam is taking up a third of her screen. When I'm on Twitch and I want to watch games, I want to watch games. I don't want to see you. Like, if I wanted to see a hot chick, I'd go to fucking RedTube or Pornhub or Xvideos or insert any fucking porn-free streaming website that you want.
Oh no, please do. Give us some more.
Let me open up my favorites, hold on.
Oh, God.
But
You don't have key bindings for that?
no, I don't. Fucking breaking my own pet peeve. No, but it's just one of those things where I'm just like, holy fuck, you know, like, I just can't deal with it. And most of the time, there's not any guys that are like that. The biggest webcam that I've probably ever seen on a stream is probably Summit 1G. And his only takes up, I just completely wrongly allocated all my damage. His takes up maybe like 1/12 or 16th of the screen. It's most of the games that he plays, it's kind of in the way of something, which, I mean, that's, you're never gonna be able to find a spot to put your webcam where it's not gonna block something game related. But you know, so I understand that struggle, and I'm gonna have to deal with that struggle when I get a new computer in 23 days.
Woo! Good countdown.
Yep.
Before you get into talking about that, what you're pet peeving against is pretty much not so much like girl streamers as it is low quality girl streamers
Fair
that
enough.
are gimmicky, right?
But I haven't found a single one that I've been like, all right, this one I can get behind.
Yeah.
Because they almost all do that, and it's an easy paycheck, in my opinion.
Oh.
Why have talent and charisma and, you know, be entertaining when I can just wear a low-cut top and have, you know, the camera angled slightly down, not break any terms of service, you know, but, like, maybe get a little bit jiggly when somebody donates or subs, you know, and have my webcam take a third of the screen. It's almost like a fucking free live webcam girl. Just playing video games in the background. I guess if that's what you're into, then that's what you're into. And sadly, there's a lot of nerds on the internet that just... I don't know if they're just too proud to look at porn, or if they're like, I just finished jerking off, now I need some light porn to soothe my erection back to sleep.
To taper down.
Oh, man. I don't know. It's one of those weird things, I guess.
Yeah. No, fair point. Alright, so tell us about your new rig.
Yeah, so basically I haven't nailed down the exact motherboard and processor that I'm getting, but it's
Well, then what good are you?
right. It's most likely going to be an Intel i7 6700K. It's a 4-core running at 3.3, 3.4, and can be overclocked safely to 3.8. And,
See, I never got that.
or is it 4.4?
Why would you...
What was it, Zach? Was it 4? I thought it was 3 or 4.
What?
The
Overclocked
6700, what's its base at? Is it 3 or 4?
Base I think is like 3.6, overclock 4.
Yeah, okay, so something
Something like that.
Yeah, so maybe I was 1,000 lower on the numbers than I should have been. And then I'll probably get a... fuck, what's that fucking motherboard? Hold on, I had it right here. You know, and then I'm also going to get 16 gigs of RAM the day that I go and get everything, because I fucking hate not having tons of RAM. That's just another pet peeve. No, it's just minorly.
No, I understand that.
Annoying.
That's just standards.
Yeah. The motherboard I'll probably be getting is the Z170. If I go with the 6700K. Definitely going to be going i7. Because streaming.
I have a question, and maybe this is just like a layman thing, but what's the point of overclocking when, like, couldn't they just design it for 3.8 rather than 3.3?
I mean, they do generally design things at 3.8 that can overclock to 4.6, or you can spend, you know, $300 less and get 3.3 and just overclock it to 3.8.
Okay, so it's just not like optimal performance standards. Okay.
Yeah. They've got to find a way to stagger a release of a new CPU every 6 months so that the new and brightest is something that you'll buy, but at the same time it's not something that you're going to buy and then replace in 6 months because you can't overclock it effectively. So if you buy like a 3.5 now, you're not buying a 3.8 in 6 months. You're just overclocking your 3.5 to keep up. And that way you don't have to upgrade every 6 months, maybe just every 9 or 12 or even 18. Or like me,
right.
6 years.
Same deal. Yeah. Remember that computer you built me?
Yep.
Streaming on it right now.
Nice.
So.
Yeah.
So,
no,
I know what you mean.
You're still able to play everything at, you know, a decent pace.
Yeah.
Like, I'm able to play mine, but I've only got 8 gigs of RAM, so I don't stream Diablo 3 or anything like that currently. I was trying to for, you know, about a couple weeks back, and my frame rate just takes a shit. And I know that's mostly video card related, but it's also processor and RAM related. My RAM is, when I'm idling in Windows, it's probably due to a memory leak, but I'm using 60% of my RAM just idling and watching YouTube.
Yeah, that's a problem.
Yeah, it's probably a memory leak, but either way, 8 gigs is not very much nowadays. You can get 16 for $70, so
Yeah.
figure just start off with 16, leave 2 open slots, get another 16 when I get an extra $70 to kick around.
Like, 8 is more than enough to run like anything, but with the price of RAM, like, there's no point not to get 16.
Exactly. I mean, because 8 is still $50, so why not just get
Yeah.
16 for 75?
Back in my day, $75 got you 8 gigs. So that's what I'm rocking. But
Back in
I
my
agree with
day,
your point.
$150 got you 4 megabytes. Remember, my very first computer was an Acer. I think
I was rocking DOS on mine.
Well, yeah, but what was the make of the computer? Was it like an Acer or a Macintosh or
I-
a Hewlett
I lit-
Packard?
I legitimately could not recall.
Yeah.
I would not be able to.
Yeah.
Gun to my head, could not.
Yeah.
All I had
So-
was like a flight simulator on it.
Very nice. Yeah, so probably going to go with the Z70 with a 6700K, 16 gigs of RAM. I'm not going to get a video card because currently I have a 670 GTX in my current rig, and it handles everything perfectly fine. My current computer is just limited by CPU because I use an AMD, and so I can't really stream effectively because cores and core speeds and AMD. So going to an Intel should make that not a problem. The video card's perfectly fine. I got a beast of a power supply in here, so I don't need to upgrade that. I'm going to keep my same case, so I don't need to upgrade that. All in all, solid state drive included, it's going to be about a $1,300 computer. But I only need to spend about $800 up front, because that's how much the motherboard and processor is going to be. And then, you know, every month I can put in another $100 to $150 into it. Maybe a solid state drive in month 2. And then, you know, whatever else I need in month 3 or 4 or whatever.
Right.
But June 30th, man, that's when I'm going down there, and I'm just going to be all like, I want this and this. And then
Good call.
take it home and build it.
Yep.
I'm pretty excited for it. 23 days away.
Sounds like a
Aw.
solid plan.
Yeah,
Totally
no.
is.
Mad props all around.
Yeah, it's going to be dope.
So, do we have any more talking points, or does that pretty much round it
I
out?
don't know. I think, you know what, we're going to actually call this one a little bit early here. Like I said, I do have to head out to my dad's here. So, kind of give you guys each a couple minutes here if you want to... Anything else you wanted to sneak in before we end here? Or
No.
any shoutouts of any kind, feel free.
I got nothing to contribute. No, as far as anything goes, no. No.
Alright. Zach?
Sad day for fanboy Dota. All the good teams losing. But, you know, that's pretty much it.
Wow. Spoiler alert.
I didn't even say what games.
You just said all the good teams.
Yeah, that's relative to my opinion.
Everybody
You don't
knows
know who
all
I
the good
like.
teams are Navi and Secret and EG, and that's it.
No,
And Liquid.
no.
All the other teams can fuck off. What about you, Kyle?
Nothing. I'm just rooting for fucking Navi.
Alright.
That's pretty much it.
Well then with that, we'll just call this one at 8:15 here, and we'll call this one done with. Thanks again, guys, for coming on. I totally just realized just now, as we're doing the outro, that I totally didn't give anybody an intro again this week. Or not again, but, you know, I didn't intro anybody. So hopefully people, you know, that are new or whatever, go watch the first 5 minutes from last week. I introed everybody so you can kind of get an idea of who is actually who when they're speaking. And you're not like, is that one Kyle or is that one Zach? Kyle's the one that sounds like an asshole.
Apparently,
that's
I am
pretty-
an asshole.
Yeah, you kind of are. But it's
Well,
okay.
you just wrote the intro we'll use for him next week.
Fair enough. So with that, we'll end it here. Thanks everybody for watching Life Bytes, episode number 3. Tune in next week for episode number 4. Respect yourselves.
Well, we'll have actual content. Woo.
Yeah, right. Respect yourselves. Respect each other. Have a good one.